Welcome to a moment of calm. You don't need to do anything. Just make yourself comfortable, breathe slowly, and let this story gently guide you toward rest. Tell us in the comments how many minutes it took you to fall asleep. Sweet dreams. I welcome you to this moment before rest, not as an obligation, nor as a technique that you must execute correctly, but as a small preparatory ritual that signals to your body and your mind that the day is beginning to close. Sleep is not something that is achieved through effort. It is not a goal that must be reached through insistence. True rest appears when it is no longer pursued. Sleep is sensitive. It approaches when there is calm, when there is space, when it is not demanded. Like a small bird that chooses to perch nearby only when it senses stillness. If you try to catch it, it moves away. If you try to force it, it disappears. But when you simply are, when you release urgency, sleep finds its own way to arrive. That is why this ritual does not focus on sleeping. It focuses on preparing the ground so that rest can occur naturally. Right now, you do not need to sleep. You only need to relax. When attention stops fixating on the outcome, the body begins to respond. Tension lowers. The nervous system receives a different signal. There is no longer any rush. Before continuing, observe the space around you, not to judge it or demand that it be perfect, but to recognize it. You are in a place where you are going to rest, and that place can adapt to you. If you feel it is necessary, make small adjustments. Turn off harsh lights. Allow the lighting to become softer, kinder to the eyes. Adjust the temperature so the body does not have to constantly adapt. Reduce any stimulus that might keep you on alert. It is not about creating an ideal setting. It is about generating a basic sense of safety and containment. The body sleeps better when it feels safe. Each person finds calm in different ways. There is no single valid formula. For you, it might be dim lighting. It might be a candle lit for a while. It might be a soft scent that feels familiar and pleasant. Perhaps writing a few lines, reading a few pages, or simply sitting in silence for a few minutes. These are not rules. They are possibilities. What matters is not what you do, but the signal you send. This moment is for me. I don't have to perform. I don't have to respond. I can slow down. Sometimes we underestimate the power of simple things. The feeling of lying down between clean sheets, the relief of resting your head on a comfortable pillow, the softness of clothing that does not squeeze or irritate. These small details are not superficial. They are direct messages to the nervous system. They tell the body that it can relax, that it does not need to stay on guard. If you wish, take a few moments now to arrange your space. Do it calmly, without pressure, and if you don't feel like doing anything, that is also fine. You can simply continue listening to this voice and allow the ritual to unfold from there. Nothing you do here can be wrong. We often associate relaxation with stimuli that, in reality, keep the mind active. Screens, series, social media. It is not about forbidding or blaming. The key is in the dose. If you choose to watch something, do it consciously, knowing when to stop, learning to listen to the inner signal that indicates it is enough. The light from devices keeps the brain in daytime mode. That is why reducing their use before sleep helps the eyes and the mind gradually adapt to darkness. Giving yourself at least some screen-free time beforehand is a way of respecting your own biological rhythm. If external noise bothers you when it's time to sleep, there are simple supports. Earplugs, soft sounds, calm music, or even a voice that accompanies you and helps you release the inner dialogue. When the mind stops listening to itself all the time, it relaxes. It is also important to observe your relationship with food before sleep. It is not about strict rules, but about knowing yourself, listening to the body, knowing which foods feel light for you and which do not. Allowing digestion to be calm before going to bed is another way of caring for rest. The less work the body has to do during the night, the easier it is for sleep to become deep and restorative. All of this is not a list of obligations. It is an invitation to treat rest with the same attention you give to other areas of your life. Now that you have mentally reviewed this space, we are going to begin directing attention inward, toward the breath, toward the body, not to sleep yet, only to continue preparing the path. Now that the external space is beginning to feel calmer, we are going to direct attention inward, not with effort, not with demand, only with gentle curiosity. Breathing is one of the simplest and most direct ways to signal to the body that it can lower its guard. Not because we need to control it, but because by observing it and accompanying it, the nervous system receives a signal of safety. Place one hand on your abdomen and the other on your chest. Not to correct anything, just to feel. Remain like this for a few moments. Notice the contact of your hands with the body. That simple gesture is already a form of presence. Now inhale gently through the nose. Without forcing, allow the air to enter naturally. Feel how the abdomen slowly expands, as if it were gently inflating. The chest remains relatively still. There is no tension. Exhale slowly through the mouth. Let the abdomen contract little by little, as if the air were leaving on its own. There is no hurry. There is no correct rhythm. Just observe. Continue breathing in this way. Inhaling through the nose, exhaling through the mouth. With each exhalation, the body receives the message that it does not need to stay alert, that it can loosen. At times, especially at the beginning, the mind wants to intervene. It wants to do it well. It wants to make sure the breathing is correct. If that happens, do not fight it. Simply return to feeling the movement of the abdomen beneath your hand. The body knows how to breathe. It has always known. Now, if it feels comfortable, begin to slightly lengthen the exhalation. Inhale while mentally counting to 4, and exhale while counting to 6. This is not a rigid rule. It is just a gentle guide. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The longer exhalation naturally activates the body's calming system. You don't need to understand it. Just allow it. Continue for a few more breaths in this way. With each cycle, the internal rhythm begins to change. The pulse softens, tension decreases. As you breathe, imagine that the body is releasing the burdens of the day. Not all at once, not dramatically, as if each exhalation were releasing a small layer of tension, a bit of tiredness, a bit of accumulated weight. You don't need to visualize clearly. Just allow the intention to let go. Now, as you continue breathing, begin to mentally repeat a simple word during the exhalation. A word that does not need explanation. The word is peace. Do not say it out loud. Just repeat it softly inside. Inhale. Exhale. Peace. Allow that word to become associated with the gesture of letting go. Not as a forced affirmation, but as a gentle reminder. Inhale. Exhale. Peace. If at any moment you become distracted, that's fine. Return when you notice it, without reproach. Now imagine a soft point of light at the center of your forehead. Not bright, not intense. A calm, steady light. With each inhalation, that point remains. With each exhalation, it expands slightly, relaxing the mind. You don't need to see the light. Just feel its presence. That light does not push thoughts away. It does not fight them. It simply creates space. As you continue breathing, allow the light to slowly extend inward through the head, relaxing the forehead, relaxing the space between the eyebrows, relaxing the jaw. The mind begins to feel less tight, less demanded. Now allow the breathing to continue on its own. You don't need to keep counting. Remain with the overall sensation. With the internal atmosphere, perhaps you feel more calm, perhaps just a little more space. Both are enough. This type of breathing does not seek to induce sleep immediately. It seeks something more important, to regulate the nervous system. When the body feels regulated, rest can appear without being pushed. Now imagine that with each exhalation, you are returning home, not to a physical place, but to an inner state, a place where you do not have to prove anything, where you do not have to respond to anyone. That place is you, when you stop demanding of yourself. Remain here for a few more moments, breathing, letting go. Remember that this ritual does not have to be long. You can repeat it whenever you need, before sleep, or even at other moments during the day. Each time you do it, you train the body to recognize calm more quickly. Now, slowly, we are going to let the breathing move into the background, without interrupting it, without changing it. The body continues breathing. You no longer need to accompany it actively. The sensation of tranquility remains. And from here, with the body more regulated and the mind softer, we will be ready to go even deeper into rest. From this state of calmer breathing, without moving your body, allow your imagination to begin to activate naturally, not as a task, not as something that needs to be done well, but as a gentle consequence of having slowed down. You don't need to see clear or defined images. You don't need to control what appears. Imagination may manifest as sensations, colors, impressions, or simple intuitions. Allow everything to occur at its own pace. Now imagine that you find yourself in a wide, silent space. It is not a specific place. It has no walls and no defined boundaries. It is an environment that conveys calm from the very first moment. The air is clean, light, easy to breathe. Each inhalation feels expansive. Each exhalation releases the body a little more. In this space, there is no noise that interrupts. There are no stimuli demanding attention. Only a deep sense of tranquility. Remain for a few moments, perceiving this place. You don't need to explore it. You don't need to move through it. You are simply there. This space responds to your inner state. The less you try to control it, the more welcoming it becomes. You may perceive a soft, enveloping light. It does not come from a specific source. It does not dazzle. It is a light that accompanies, that supports. Allow that light to move closer to the body, not from the outside, but from within, as if it were born in the center of the chest and slowly expanded. It does not push. It does not invade. It simply creates a feeling of safety. During the day, the body often remains on alert, responding, anticipating, holding. Here, in this inner space, that is not necessary. Here you can release the layers of accumulated tension, one by one, without hurry. Imagine that each exhalation lets an invisible burden fall away, something you no longer need to carry with you tonight. It is not important to identify what it is. The body knows what to release. As you let go, the inner space becomes wider, more stable, more silent. Allow that sensation to deepen. If at any moment thoughts appear, do not fight them. Do not try to push them away. Let them pass like distant sounds that require no response. This inner place is not altered by the activity of the mind. It remains stable, even as thoughts appear and disappear. Now imagine that this space is your personal refuge. It is not something you have to build. It has always been there, a place you can return to whenever you need. Here you do not have to play any role. You do not have to meet expectations. You do not have to solve anything. The body begins to recognize this space as safe. And when the body feels safe, it can rest. Allow the shoulders to drop a little more. Allow the jaw to loosen. Allow the forehead to soften. The body responds to the image of safety by letting go effortlessly. Now, within this space, imagine a firm and comfortable surface supporting you. You don't need to see it, only to feel that there is no falling, that there is no risk. You are completely supported. This feeling of support does not depend on anything external. It requires no conditions. It is simply available. Allow the weight of the body to surrender a little more, as if there were no need to hold even the posture. As the body surrenders, the mind begins to lose interest in staying active, not because it is ordered to rest, but because it no longer finds reasons to remain alert. Remain here. Notice how time begins to feel different, less linear, less urgent. There is no before and no after. Only this moment, this inner space, has no demands. It has no goals. Being here is enough. Perhaps you feel a deep sense of calm, perhaps only a quiet neutrality. Both are signs that the nervous system is finding balance. Allow that sensation to stabilize. Remember that this inner refuge does not disappear when you open your eyes. It will always be available. But for now, you do not need to leave it. Remain a few moments longer, allowing the body and mind to adapt to this stillness. From here, the step toward deep rest becomes natural, not forced, not rushed. Sleep is no longer something you have to seek. It is something that can approach when it chooses, and you do not have to do anything to make it happen. Remain where you are. There is nothing to adjust. There is nothing to improve. The body has already received all the signals it needed. The mind has as well. Now a different phase begins. More silent, deeper. It is not something you must provoke. It happens when you stop intervening. Allow everything you have done up to now to fall away. The words, the images, even the intention to rest, they are no longer necessary. The body knows exactly how to continue. Feel how breathing happens in the background. It does not need to be observed. It does not need to be accompanied. Inhale and exhale effortlessly, without conscious direction. The rhythm is the right one. It needs no correction. The heart beats regularly, slower, more stable. Nothing pushes it. Nothing accelerates it. At this point, there are no decisions to make. There are no next steps. There are no instructions to follow. Everything has simplified. Attention begins to become diffuse. It is not focused on any particular place. And that is natural. The mind does not need to stay awake for the body to be safe. It can withdraw little by little. If thoughts appear, it does not matter. They are not a problem. They do not interrupt anything. They are simply echoes of the day's activity, slowly fading. Like lights turning off one by one in a quiet house. You do not need to follow them. You do not need to close them. They can remain incomplete. They can dissolve before finishing. Nothing depends on them now. Allow the spaces between thoughts to lengthen. Moments when nothing in particular happens. Do not try to fill those spaces. Do not observe them with active curiosity. Let them be. These moments of apparent emptiness are deeply restorative. The body uses them to reorganize, to integrate, to restore. Meanwhile, you do not have to do anything. The sensation of heaviness may increase, or a strange lightness may appear. Both are normal. The body is entering a different state of consciousness. If perception becomes blurry, if time loses meaning, if attention comes and goes, all of this is part of the natural process of falling asleep. There is no need to return. There is no need to maintain presence. You can let yourself go. Now, imagine only if it arises spontaneously, that you are completely supported, not by an idea, not by a thought, but by something broader. The surface that supports you, the space around you, the night itself. There is no falling. There is no risk. Only constant support. This support asks nothing of you. It does not expect answers. It does not expect results. It does not require you to be any particular way. It simply is. Allow the weight of the body to surrender a little more, as if even the breath were becoming deeper within that support. The muscles rest effortlessly. The joints loosen. The expression of the face softens. There are no gestures to maintain. There is no tension to hold. Here, there is no evaluation of the day. No balance. No review of mistakes. None of that is necessary now. Rest is not earned. It is not deserved. It is allowed. If a gentle emotion appears, tiredness, tenderness, nostalgia, let it pass. It does not need explanation. It does not need to be understood. Like a breeze that crosses and continues on its way, the emotional system also rests when it is no longer being observed. The night has its own language. It does not speak in words. It does not give instructions. It speaks in long pauses, in slow rhythms, in wide silences. Allow that language to envelop you. There is nothing to understand, nothing to decipher. If the body feels very heavy, or very light, or strange, it is not a warning sign. It is a sign of transition. The nervous system is moving toward a deeper state of rest. Do not interfere. Trust. Sleeping is not losing control. It is returning control to the body. The body knows how to care for you while you rest. It always has. You do not need to monitor the process. You do not need to accompany it consciously to the end. You can let go earlier. In fact, that is what is natural. Allow awareness to withdraw, like a light that dims on its own without anyone turning it off. There is no exact moment when it happens. There is no instant you need to notice. It simply happens. If you are still hearing these words, you do not need to do anything with them. They can pass over you, like a distant sound, like a murmur that no longer requires attention. You do not need to remember them. You do not need to understand them. They can dissolve. The body rests. The mind grows quiet. The night fulfills its function, and you can remain here without effort, without expectations, allowing yourself to be gently carried into sleep. Nothing more is necessary.